Hey, you need to have shame. History will not remember you for what you have done. It is a shame. It is horrific for what you have. I think if the Republicans want to be playing this game, we have to go give them a taste of their own medicine. Instead of just writing a strongly worded letter about how disappointed we are about what Republicans are doing, that's by the wayside. We got to step up and do something.
I saw that there are a numerous of teachers here in the state that are being investigated and or have been fired or placed on suspension because of the comments they made on Charlie Kirk. I'm curious, if you were elected Congress, what ways would you push back against Greg Abbott's administration, specifically when it comes after targeting people that say things he disagrees with?
Well, I mean, it's clear that they think that free speech is dead in America. It's so interesting because they made that such a big pillar of their campaign, and it's obviously BS. I want to try to get folks together to create a real legal defense fund to go defend people when the Republicans go after them, because we have to make sure people are protected. People losing their jobs, people losing their businesses over exercising their right to say what's on their mind. And so I think we've got to be able to create an entity to go and defend people after these ridiculous, erroneous actions happen, to make sure we can find ways to fight back against that. I think it's really important.
If you were elected to Congress and you seen Greg Abbott being able to use his position to push at different students, I seen one student at Texas State, another student at Texas Tech University, the way he was using his platform. Like what role, if any, do you think if you were elected in Congress here in the state, would you have specifically with pushing back, or we feel like they would be out of your jurisdiction?
Oh, I'm gonna comment on everything. I like to speak out. I ain't one of those that like to be sitting around and just being quiet. So I'm gonna light Greg Abbott up on Twitter and everything else, but it's gotta be more than that. That student had his whole life derailed because of some governor that's trying to play politics with his life. I mean, seriously. I mean, we all were in college. We all did stuff. But at the end of the day, just think that that's going to be what gets you expelled is crazy. So we got to be talking about, again, how we can bring resources together to defend students like that. Because what we're seeing across the country is just Republicans targeting people, and they expect for us to sit around with our hands behind our back and do nothing about it. It's crazy.
Not only is it crazy, you said that made me think, how many elected officials do we have that's explained away blackface or doing some crazy shit in college and being able to say they were young and in college?
100%.
Black students being kicked out of school is crazy.
That's right. Think about it. I mean, you always see, I was in college, I was young, and all those things, and that's cool. But make sure that it works both sides of the same coin on that. Because again, if a guy gets up there, he says something that maybe he might regret, maybe not, who knows? At the end of the day, it's his free speech. He has to be able to have the right to be able to go and do things on a college campus and be a 27-year-old college kid. I mean, we all were in college at one point. And I think that we got to make sure that we can go stand up for people like that.
Your current plan focuses on energy innovation and job creation. How would you specifically address the findings that communities like the Fifth Ward in Houston face cancer clusters that's linked to industrial pollution?
Well, first off, we got to talk about why this is here. The whole reason why this is here, you got all these politicians that always want to go and talk about it, but they never actually do anything about it. And the reason why is because the state agencies are completely being controlled by people that are getting bankrolled by these big corporations. Big corporations give money to Abbott and everybody else at the state level, and they're the ones that are turning a blind eye. Now, under President Biden, there was a lot of work done, particularly to go and get air monitors directly into Fifth Ward, so we can start to actually get data behind a lot of this stuff to take real concrete action. Congresswoman Jackson Lee was really instrumental in getting a lot of that stuff done. Now, the issue that we currently face is that Trump got in there, got rid of the entire environmental justice office that was literally created for communities like Fifth Ward, for communities like Pleasantville, for communities like Clinton Park that has been affected by this. And he got rid of that funding. So one of the first principal actions that I'm going to be doing is not voting for any type of budget whatsoever that continues to defund this environmental justice office. We have to get that money put back in place, and we have to get them working on that immediately. But I think it also goes further than that. What we have seen from these big corporations in polluting has to be remedied, because it's not just right here in Houston. It's also in Louisiana with Cancer Alley. It's also in Mississippi. There's a long history in this country of polluting inside of our neighborhoods. So I'm talking about creating free healthcare for those that have been affected by this, free relocation for those that have been affected by this, college funds set up for the descendants of those that have been affected by this. I think that the government really has to be able to say, look, we have turned a blind eye on this for way too long, and we got to be partnering with our neighbors all across the Gulf Coast that have been experiencing the exact same thing to get the real tangibles back directly for people. Because I don't think that it's enough to just talk about cleaning it up. People have suffered as a result of this, and we got to make sure that people can get ahead a lot further than what they are right now.
Man, and you actually took away my follow-up question I was going to ask about what federal environment regulations would you champion and strengthen? But I feel like you kind of answered that all already. The reason why I'm asking you this because I know that here in Houston, especially throughout the state of Texas, but especially here in Houston, we have a lot of big oil companies that's been able to use their capital and their influence to pour into our football programs that allows for them to get away with profitizing their pockets while being able to pollute, you know what I'm saying, our air to make it where a bunch of black and brown communities throughout Harris County really be hit by this. So I had to ask you specifically when it comes to that. But just keeping it in this realm of climate and energy, as a Gen Z member, how would as a Gen Z member, but technically as a Gen Z member, because you are a member of Gen Z, how would you respond to critics who say your energy platform is not aggressive enough in prioritizing climate action, and which is a top concern for your generation?
Well, look, one of the things that I would say is that I was very pivotal in working with Congresswoman Jackson Lee to talk about the Inflation Reduction Act, the largest investment in climate change in the history of the United States of America. And what I do believe in is supporting alternative forms of energy. So that means more incentives for creating hydrogen development, which is a very clean form of energy. Talking about how we're going to be able to go get more vehicles that are going to be, have charging stations directly within our neighborhood. That's a whole story. I bet we could talk about that for hours about how we spent billions of dollars on this, but yet we haven't really seen the real tangibles come as a result of that. There's a lot of permitting things we got to fix to make sure we can get that fixed. But in addition to that, I think that the energy transition has to be one where we're fostering innovation. What does that mean? In order to get more people to be in electric cars, we got to create incentives and say, look, let's get electric batteries that can charge a lot faster than what they are right now. Let's give incentives to companies that actually go forward and can create a hydrogen car that is actually feasible, that's actually going to reduce emissions. So I think that we have to use incentives to create targeted investment to be able to reduce a lot of the emissions that we have. So look, there's a lot of work that we can do. There's still a lot more, but I think the key that we should be talking about is that Donald Trump is getting rid of literally every bit of progress that we have made on this issue. Every single thing that we have done, he's trying to get rid of it. Look at what he's trying to do with wind, for example. He's cracking down on wind right now as we speak. You want to know why your energy bills are going up? It's because we've got AI data centers going up all over the place. We're getting rid of alternative forms of energy, and they're overworking the power sources that we currently have. That's what they're doing, and I think we have to crack down on that aggressively when we take back the House.
You think we're gonna have a midterm election?
I do, actually. I think that they don't want us to believe that we are, but I think that we will. But the thing is that we can't sit around and just expect that that's going to happen, because they're going to make it really, really crazy in the meantime, because they're trying to steal it. I mean, that's very clear. They're trying to steal everything that we've got. And so, look, whether it's through gerrymandering, whether that's through them shutting down, how they usually do, taking up mail-in ballot locations, doing what they can to go and reject ballots altogether, that's what they're going to try to do. But I think that's why we've got to create a bigger sense of creating a more watchdog, I guess, presence amongst all of us, and go in and watch and observe everything these guys are doing, because they're going to steal it if we don't pay attention.
So you advocated for Democrats to fight 5 with 5. Before I even get into the specifics of gerrymandering and how you got arrested, when you say fight 5 with 5, what do you mean by that in my Drewski voice?
What do you mean by that?
What do you
mean? I say treat them son of guns the same way they try to treat us. Look, they're trying to go and gerrymander our state. Let's go do that to them. Let's see how they like it. Let's go to California and go take a couple of Republican seats and see what it is with them. Let's go to Maryland and take a Republican seat that they have from Andy Harris. Let's go to New York. Let's do that over there. Let's go do that in Colorado. I think if the Republicans want to be playing this game, we have to go give them a taste of their own medicine. This day of just writing a strongly worded letter about how disappointed we are about what Republicans are doing, that's by the wayside. We got to step up and do something.
I know I wasn't tripping when I was like, hey, if these people have already decided they don't like you and they already decide they're not going to respect you, you trying to play nice, it's not
Right.
going to change the status quo. So you
Right.
trying to get them to see you as being, agreeable, or see you as being adaptable. Like they already feel like you a piece. They already feel like you what's supposed to be. Yeah,
Right.
I hate to use that
It's
language, but
true.
it's
It's
real.
true though. I
Piece of
mean, it's
shit.
real.
So for me, it'd be
I'm,
like a lot of times, especially it was like, hold on. So only 2 white Democrats voted against CK being Remembrance Day. Only 2. Then people that look like us that was playing, it was thinking like, so you think that if you play up to their standards of ethics and humanity, they respect yours. Is that what you think? All
it's
right,
naive.
we gonna see how they go. We're gonna see how they go. Curious though, curious. When you and I we met at the state capitol,
Hmm.
I'm curious. 'Cause I seen it with my own 2 eyes. When you are in spaces like that, how much are you recklessly eyeballed by Republicans?
All the time. Every time I go somewhere. I mean, that's how they are. They always look at me. They look at me crazy. They know what time it is. So, look, like I said, feelings mutual.
You was arrested at a redistrict hearing for refusing to
Yeah.
yield to the speaking time. While the charges was
Hmm.
dropped, some seen it as political 3-8. My question is, what concrete legislation or legal strategies do you believe are most effective in protecting voting rights and fair representation when it comes to civil disobedience? Because you know that these Republicans, particularly the white Republicans, they are able to exercise their liberties and their freedoms, and it's seen as civil disobedience. That's cool. But you,
I guarantee you what, if I was one of them, I guarantee you they would have said that I was just passionate. I was a passionate person, just sticking out, Hey, but that's either here nor there. But the point is that you know every politician as a Democrat running for Congress is going to get up here and say the words, "I believe in passing the John Lewis Voting Rights Act," and I agree with that. But here's the issue: think about how long we've been talking about that. We've been talking about that for so long, and the reason why it can't get across the finish line is because of the filibuster. Republicans are under no incentive to go forward and pass that legislation. Why? Because they're gerrymandering their states with reckless abandon. They're going forward. They're taking mail-in ballots out, so they see it as Democrats are holding themselves to a set of standards that Republicans do not follow. So I think the only way to get real substance on voting rights is to treat them the exact same way they're treating us. That's why it's so important to gerrymander them in Republican areas. Look, I think it's important to go do even further than that. They're playing around with our mail-in ballot locations. Look, hey, it'd be a shame if the same thing would have happened to them. I just think that ultimately, we have
yes,
to. We got to go and treat Republicans the exact same way they're treating us, and then maybe, just maybe, they'll realize that hey, you can't do that. And I think that that's how you can get them across the finish line. Because ultimately, when blue states go even just as hard as they are, and they go and they get a bunch of seats, and Republicans realize they won't be able to win the House again, maybe they'll change their tune on a lot of the way they're doing things. But as long as we're creating a system where we're tying ourselves behind our back while Republicans do whatever the heck they want to do, hey, that's going to be the situation.